or something like it.
Welcome to the show! Exploding on screen with his retro folk rock is Langhorne Slim. Then we will meet the passionate filmmaking sensibilities of Gisela Sanders Alcantara and find out how to save the planet one clown at a time with the Green Circus. But first, we will meet and experience the intense energy of the prolific Eddie Al Faro. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show!
Well, my name's Eddie Al Faro, and I'm having a show here at XL Nightclub tonight. This is some of the pieces I'm going to put up when I figure out how to do that. I never hung on curtains before. We'll figure something out. And yeah, it's a pleasure, you know, to show my work and stuff. And I look forward to it every time. We're gonna get ready to set up the show, if we can do it somehow, and find out how to do it, you know. You see the curtains, we have no walls to hang on. Should be interesting, right? But it's on paper, so maybe it'll, you know, it'll be okay. I go all around, really, with my drawing. I do abstract expression, and sometimes I just want to make faces. Like, I didn't do it purposely, but I fell into making faces. And as I did faces all the time, you know, I thought of how faces are all different. And no matter how many faces you make, even if you're drawing faces all the time, they're different, every one of them. I try to limit myself purposely to actually grow. Like, take a step back to go forward 2 steps or whatever. And I think sometimes if you work at one thing over and over again, no matter how boring it may get sometimes, or you feel like you have no ideas left. And again, you can take divergences and try different stuff, and that always helps, and I do that, you know, all the time. But if you work at something, really work at something, take it simple, like take a couple lines, limit yourself to lines, black and white paper, and just keep doing that, and keep doing that, and keep doing that, and try, and you'll come to places where you think, oh, there's nothing left to do. And then something else will just open up. This is one of the pieces in the show. I did it last night. It's a busier, condensed more one. I did these pieces in the last couple of days, and I kind of went in a row from like more space to more condensed. I draw faces. And sometimes I'm just telling you, at heart, that kid in high school at the desk trying to draw funny faces and stuff. But I have to admit, I've grown totally. I'm a different person, and I have different views of art and stuff. It's not just scribbles to me anymore. It's really, like I said, sacred. Okay, this is another piece for the show. It's a face. These are the eyes, the nose, the nostrils. This is the mouth, a little reflection on the lips. This is like the jaw jutting out. This is the ear. This is the hair. This little hair hanging over here. And he has a bit of like a smirk type look on his face. And I've also found the stuff I was doing earlier when I started drawing again, and other stuff that I went into, they've kind of come together, and in a way where I didn't design. In a way, it naturally just grew, and that's what I really like about this. Is why I'm really think I'm going forward to art and all that stuff, because I think it's growing by itself, and it's not even my choice to keep. I have to do it, you know, like it's here for a reason or something, you know. I'm telling you, I don't even know what the hell this is. But it's something, I tell you that. It's something, and it's coming out of me now, and I just, like, it's a wave. And I like it, man. It's like surfing, it's beautiful. This is the DJ piece I did. I've been downloading and listening to a lot of scratch records lately, and I think it's a great medium. I think it's awesome, and that's what that is, the DJ and someone standing next to the DJ. All right, my name's Eddie Alfaro. The show has just been canceled. The promoter for the night quit. The show is canceled. We're gonna have it somewhere else, I think. These turn of events, this disturbing turn of events has made us end up here among the wreckage of the show that never happened. I stand here, a defeated man. I thought I was gonna have a big show tonight. I was very pumped. I was slowly preparing myself for this show for tonight for 2 weeks. I was meditating, I was thinking about everything, making everything just right, and nothing was right. Pretty much everybody that actually probably cared about me that was going to show up tonight is not going to come tonight. Not care for me anymore, because I brought them here for no reason into the city. And that's it. The life of an artist or something like it. I'm signing off. Eddie Al Faro.
Hi, I'm Psychic Fabulina, here to predict a positive future in renewable energy, and today I have with me my favorite friends and family, the superheroes known as the Green Circus.
Well, you know, I've always been inspired by Marvel Comics and the superhero element of changing the world fantastically, and I've always I've wanted to achieve superhero status, but wasn't sure how. The Green Circus offered a way to take on that alter ego, that identity, to challenge and positively. It's a noble cause, I think. Hi, my name is Justin Finley, and I work with the Green Circus. I play a character known as Hempy the Clown, also known as Johnny B. Hempseed.
I'd like to introduce the superhero known as Hempy Clown. Now, Hempy can provide sufficient fuel, food, oil, medicine, clothing, paper, and shelter for all peoples of the world.
I'm Jason, and I play a character named James Green.
My name is Patrick Greco. I also play a character in the Green Circus called Sammy Solar, and I love to sing and educate people about a little solar energy.
Every hour of every day, my shine provides enough electricity to power all humankind's activities for 1 year. That's right, baby. That's right. If we were able to harness all the power of the sun for 1 full hour, you could power everything, baby, all around the world. Now that's solar power. Can I get a yeah? Yeah! That's right.
I've been on stage and performing, I guess, since I was a little kid. I've always had a little passion for being the one out there in front, especially when it comes to being on stage. The energy that you get when you're staring into an audience and you're being able to create a character that's not yourself is very intriguing to me. It's always been really exciting working with different groups, especially with a group like this, the Green Circus, where everybody has taken it to another level. Everybody has seen what they want to be, and now this is a place where we can all come together.
Hi, my name is Bobby Williams. My character is called Psychic Fabulina. I teach people about the positive future in renewable energies. Now, for 1 billion years, the sun has poured out huge amounts of energy, including forms such as light, heat, and radio waves. Now, the Earth receives a small portion of the sun's energy, and with renewable energy, we receive it in solar collectors and modules. We all multitask, we're all multimedia artists, and we all throw a bunch of our skills into the mix to make the Green Circus happen.
What we're doing here in New York is we're creating we're doing more of the theatrical show plus the television show that's in production right now. It's It's a quadrilogy. It's either going to be a television show or a film. We're not really sure yet because it's a very experimental piece, but it's been in production for the past 9 months, and it has many different levels from puppetry to animation, and it's basically the same kind of vehicle spreading environmental awareness.
You're coming with me, Mr. Happy.
Happy. How would you like to free your mind from the shackles of mental slavery? For the forces of this dying world are not acting so neighborly, baby, yeah. I've known it since the day I was born. You've got to plant the seed before you eat the corn. Now, Hempy, you've got to grow your own song. What the world needs now is a plant that is strong.
Yeah, but how do we get out of here?
Thanks for hanging out with the Green Circus. Again, we teach renewable energy. We also teach yoga and meditation in the schools and visual arts. And we're multimedia, so we're going to be TV. Check out our website, www.greencircus.org. And
Get in touch with us.
I am Gisela Sanders Alcantara. I'm a filmmaker. I came from Mexico City 2 years ago, and I came to do my master's in film. Creo que todo empezó con una gran pérdida. Una pérdida infinita que me dejó suspendida entre mi anhelo y una violenta sensación de abandono. And I wanted to talk about the experience of having a family, and I have a quite large family. I mean, I have like 47 cousins, and I have like 13 uncles and and aunts. And so I wanted to talk about that because that is me a lot. I wanted to talk about the family, that feeling of being surrounded and being part of that big clan. So this scene, I'm coming back from the countryside, from the very first, my very first exposure with the place where my grandfathers were, because I actually, in this journey, I really went to my very, very roots, meaning like I went to my grandfather's land. And so I am coming here, and in this moment, I am talking with my brother. And this talk that I have with my brother is the very first talk that we had about our situation. I never had the courage to talk about it with him. And I was really emotional in this moment. And I think in the all interviews that I do to my family, this was the only one that I was crying.
Uno puede reinventar el pasado tantas veces como quiera, entonces pues es muy relativo eso. Cuando te encuentras con alguien, puedes buscar momentos de la vida y del otro en el que pudieron coincidir o en el...
It was a process of healing, What I put on the screen was something that it was really hard for me to talk about. I grew up in an environment in which it was hard to take that a single mother, you know, was raising their 2 children. It was really brave and really hard for her. And so for me it was as well really hard because, you know, most of my friends were coming from a regular family, whereas a dad and a mom and, you know, brothers and sisters. And I was, you know, seeing all around me that people had, you know, mom and dad except me, you know, and except my brother. And so me and my brother, we pretty much shared that, you know, that lackness of a father guide. And another scene that I want to talk about that I really like is here, when finally we're, you know, cooking the mole all together. Here my aunt says that she's really old and she's not able to, you know, to join all the family together. And so we are, you know, going to the market. We're going to get some guajolotes or turkeys, We're going to kill them and we're going to cook some mole.
¿Este es macho o es hembra?
Es macho, por eso tiene los ojos.
Este largo es el chile pasilla. Se desvena, se le quita la pata y se hace una cazuelita que tengas donde caiga lo que voy a moler.
Pues creo que mi hermana armó una historia falsa sobre que nuestra familia es como agua para chocolate. Todas las tías acá guisando y la chingada, que el pollo, que el mole, que los chiles, que el cacahuate.
I think my film not only talks about me, it talks about the experience of many people in the world. And not only in Mexico as well, you know, because, I mean, my family's from Mexico, but everybody has a family. So thanks for watching. If you want to know about me and my film, you can go to www.yosoyalcantara.com. And you're gonna find my film, you're gonna find photographs, you're gonna find stories behind, you're gonna find a lot.
Good evening, my name is Langhorne Slim, and I am a guitar player and a singer. The name Langhorne comes from a town in Pennsylvania that I grew up in, which is called Langhorne. My idea of success would be just to be making music that I could be proud of, making records that I thought were good. The first song that I ever wrote was a song called Lesbian Friend at the age of, I think, 10 or 11. And I'm not exactly sure what inspired me to write such a song. For I had no friends that were lesbians, at least that I knew of. But probably the evil, evil television. My earliest musical memory is riding in the car with my grandparents. They used to pick my brother and myself up every other weekend in Pennsylvania, and they lived in Longport, New Jersey, which is I think two towns away from Atlantic City. And we would drive down to the Jersey Shore and listen to all kinds of different kinds of music, a lot of show tunes, and we would all sing along together. When I'm performing, some of the time it feels, it's sort of an indescribable feeling, I think. I think the good part of it is just as indescribable as the bad part. Good is probably as good as I've ever felt which is why I guess I do it, or feel the need to do it. And the bad is pretty damn awful, too. But I don't know, it's sort of an addiction for me, I guess. When I go and see a band perform and I think that they're ripping it up, you know, halfway in between, I guess, their set, I'm thinking about, you know, myself on stage. Then I start thinking, well, that's kind of strange to be thinking about. Right, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's even more than like recording songs in a studio or something like that. If I'm in front of people and playing songs, there's a feeling that is the closest to beauty or truth that I've ever felt.
Lost my head, now I in place. Can't find my true sugar. She can play sugar a place. I barely taste like sugar.
If I sit down and write a song, and then the way that I would sing it right now in front of you, it would be different than if I'm singing it in front of a room, you know, filled with people. And I'm not sure exactly how to explain that other than I think just the energy of that sort of experience with many eyes on you or something like that. I don't know, I feed off of that in a much different way than I do, or at least I have been able to so far in like a studio sort of a situation or something like that.
I need your loving, baby. I need your loving, mama. I need your love. Somebody say yeah. Yeah! Well, I need your loving, baby. Come on, I need your loving, mama. I need your loving. Somebody say hell yeah. Yeah! I need your loving, baby. I need your loving, mama. I need your loving, baby. Everybody, I need your loving, baby. I need your loving, mama. I need your loving, baby. Woo! Well, I need your loving all night long. Yes, I do. I need your loving like can come in the zoo. I need your loving in the early morning.
Well, thanks for watching. My name's Langhorne Slim. If you'd like to find out more about me, go to www.langhorneslim.com. Good night.
Thanks to all the artists and all the people that made this show possible. Special thanks to New York City for providing a breeding ground of creativity.
It's art, or something like it's art, or something like it.
This is Art or Something Like It, presenting a gallery of amazing artists each and every week, and more integrity than he can shake a stick at. For more information about the show, or any of the artists on the show, please visit artorsomethinglikeit.com. Next time you experience something new and you don't know what to make of it, you should ask yourself, is it art or something like it? Thank you. Good night.
I'm art or something like it. I'm art or something like it. I'm art or something like it. artist.